fertile land growing corns, beans, and squash.
Men smoked tobacco, wore deerskin loincloths, painted their bodies with red ochre, and adorned themselves with feathers.
Women wore skirts woven from Spanish moss or other plant fibers. A favorite game of the Appalachian was played by trying to kick a small hard ball into a goal.
The Canoe were the largest indigenous group of Florida. We consisted of several chiefdoms bound by a common language. We were farmers, but also hunted deer, bear, alligators, and fish with hooks and traps. Men were known for their tattooed bodies and for being fierce warriors. Women, children, and elders hunted or gathered food.
The Tocobaga lived in small villages along the western coast of the present-day Tampa Bay area. Mounds built by the Tocobaga can still be found here today.
They used gnat ladle to hunt, but also ate shellfish and even manatee. According to archaeologists, the Tocobaga did very little farming, and instead traded with northern groups for corn and other crops.
The Tequesta settled along the southeastern coast of Florida. Although small in number, we had many villages near the mouth of the Miami River and on the coastal islands near Biscayne Bay.
The Tequesta did not practice any form of agriculture. Men fished for shark and porpoise, while women collected clams and oysters.
The Calusa were sometimes known as the Shell People because of their amazing use of shells. We used shells to make jewelry, weapons, and tools.
The Calusa lived along southwestern Florida and traveled in dugout canoes made from hollowed-out cypress trees. They never spent much time hunting or farming, but instead raided other tribes. More than often, it was the outnumbered Tequesta. 1492. Christopher Columbus set sail in search of a new route to Asia.
On October 12th, my ships made land. I thought I had reached the Indies near the coast of Asia, but I actually landed in the Bahamas. I shall call these people Indians.
Columbus completed 4 round trips between Spain and the Americas. These voyages marked the beginning of the age of exploration and colonization of the American continent.
On Columbus's second sailing trip, I, Juan Ponce de Leon, an exploring conquistador, joined the voyage. In 1513, I set sail for new lands and gold for the Spanish Empire. Only legends suggest I was searching for the Fountain of Youth.
On April 2nd, 3 ships made land near present-day Melbourne Beach. Ponce named the land
La Florida.
in tribute to Spain's Easter celebration known as Pascua Florida, or Feast of Flowers. In 1521, he returned to Florida to start a colony near present-day Charles Harbor. The Calusa, however, did not welcome him, and a battle quickly ensued. Ponce de Leon was badly injured by an arrow. His ships quickly sailed back to Cuba, where Ponce died of his wounds. Stories of Ponce de Leon's adventures lured other Spanish conquistadors to explore Florida. In 1527, Pánfilo de Narvaez sailed from Spain to start a colony.
I landed in your own backyard, at what is currently known as the Jungle Prada site in St. Petersburg. Upon meeting the natives, I demanded to know where the gold was.
The Tocobaga, wanting him to leave, decided to trick him. Wandering for months, suffering from starvation, desertion, and attacks from the natives, Narvaez and his remaining crew built makeshift rafts hoping to sail to a Spanish colony in Mexico. Narvaez was never seen again. Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca was one of only 4 lucky survivors of the failed Narvaez expedition. He wrote down an account of his experiences and kept detailed notes of the many American Indian tribes he encountered. Upon his return to Spain, he published La Relación, the narrative of his expedition. Another explorer that was influenced by the achievements of the Spanish before him, Fernando de Soto, set sail for Florida in 1539.
I landed in the Tampa Bay area, and not only did I bring with me men, horses, pigs, weapons, supplies, and tools, but also infectious diseases such as smallpox and measles.
On his march north in search of gold and riches, De Soto was instrumental in contributing to the development of hostile relationships between the Native American tribes and Europeans. Although he never found the riches in Florida he had found in South America,
I was the first European to see the Mississippi River.
by 1561, the Spanish had not found the riches they had sought in Florida and had failed to build a single colony. That year, the King of Spain declared,
Spain is no longer interested in Florida.
Spain, however, was not the only country interested in exploring North America. In 1562, a Frenchman by the name of Jean Ribault landed on a small island on the St. Johns River.
I erected a marker with a bronze shield and claimed Florida for France. We received friendly welcome from the Chamuka, with whom we traded. I turned my fleet north and sailed up the coast to South Carolina, where I founded Charleston.
Ribault, however, soon had to set sail for France to secure supplies for the small settlement.
In 1564, I, Rene Laudonnière, sailed with the boat to Florida 2 years earlier, settled in present-day Jacksonville, and built Fort Caroline.
The artist, Jacques Lemoyne, was one of those settlers of Fort Caroline.
I traveled through North Florida, charting the coastlines and the lives of the Chamuka Indians. My engravings give a detailed account of early Native American ways of life.
While life at Fort Caroline flourished at first, problems soon arose. The Chamuka became tired of supplying the colonists with food. Many colonists were more interested in seeking gold and silver than farming, and the colony soon attracted the attention of the Spanish. The Spanish decided this French fort was much too close to their treasure route, and a stage was set for battle. Ribault, who had been spending some time as a prisoner in the Tower of London, was quickly bonded and sent to Florida to protect Fort Caroline. The Spanish, not to be outdone, sent their own ex-con, Pedro Menendez de Aviles, to attack Fort Caroline and drive out the French. Upon arrival, however, Menendez found the mouth of the St. Johns River blockaded by Ribault's ships. Menendez turned his fleet south and sailed into a protected harbor.
This is the harbor for the settlement of St. Augustine.
Ribault decided to give chase, but many of the ships were destroyed by a massive storm.
I marched my troops up north and led a surprise attack on Fort Caroline. Laudonnière and Lemoyne escaped. Ribault was sentenced to death.
Menendez de St. Augustine became the first permanent European settlement in North America. Despite Menendez's efforts, St. Augustine struggled. The settlement suffered from disease, desertion, attacks by the natives, and threats from other nations. A British explorer and privateer, Sir Francis Drake,
Or as some would call me, a pirate, I began attacking the treasure fleet and the coastal settlements of Spain. In 1586, I raided St. Augustine and issued the dreadful orders to burn the town!
over the next 80 years, the Spanish settlement suffered pirate attacks, hurricanes, floods, and other fire. But each time, the settlers rebuilt their homes and wooden forts. In 1672, the Spanish decided to build a sturdier fort. The Castillo de San Marcos took 20 years to build. Built out of coquina stone, the fort withstood 2 more British attacks. Due to the success of Spanish colonialism in Florida, Spain sent missionaries to convert what they thought were the native savages. During this time, some Native Americans adopted the European way of life. Many, however, were forced to accept it. Many of the workers who helped build the Castillo de San Marcos were escaped slaves from the northern British colonies that had agreed to accept the Roman Catholic religion in return for protection and freedom. The Black Militia, under the leadership of Francisco Menendez,
helped defend the fort against British attacks and won the respect of the Spanish.
In 1738, the Spanish governor granted the Africans their own land. Fort Mose lies 2 miles north of St. Augustine and was the first free African settlement in what is now the United States.
In 1741, the British captured me and I was sold as slaves, but by 1752, I was able to return to Fort Mose as a free man.
The love of freedom was shared by another group, Seminole Indians. As a result of the northern British settlements, many Native American groups migrated to Florida.
The Spanish had brought disease and war to the Native Americans of Florida. Almost all the original cultures of Florida had disappeared. The few that remained joined those that migrated from the north. Some of them have left the Spanish missions rather than give up their own beliefs.
The First Seminole War began in 1818. Then came a second in 1835. With each war, the Seminole population and land shrank. Many were forced to leave Florida and were displaced to reservations. By the end of the Third Seminole War in 1858, less than 200 Florida Seminoles remained. Those remaining few are the only tribe to carry on their culture and remain
unconquered. Some say their name comes from the Spanish word cimarrones, which means rumblers. However, many Native Americans believe that name means free people.
And so concludes Florida's early history. I would now like to introduce our historical figures. The Appalachian, played by Maya and Isolina. The Temuca, played by Reina and Vivian. The Tocobaga, played by Hayden and the Tepessa, played by Luca and Reed. The Calusa, played by Jaden. Christopher Columbus and the King of Spain, played by Grayson. Juan Ponce de Leon, played by Skylar. Campilo de Narvaez, played by Catherine. Fernando de Soto, played by Reese. Ron Raveau, played by Sophia. Renee Ladimir and missionary number 1, Riley. Jacques Lemoyne and missionary number 2, Fiona. Pedro Menendez de Aviles, played by Ella. Sir Francis Drake, played by Violet. Francisco Menendez, played by Ashlyn. And the Florida Seminole Indians, played by Eddie, Joshua, and Gwendolyn. Let's give them one more big round of applause. They're doing very hard. So I'd really like to thank the fourth graders for their hard work. Ms. Lester and I are very proud of everything that they've accomplished this year. It wasn't an easy year. It was definitely different, but we're really glad we were able to present this for you today. I'd also like to thank Ms. Lester for her help and support, for creating this great map of Florida, and by contributing to their learning through their historical research paper, which was a big way to tie everything together. Thank you for coming. We're excited about St. Augustine. Feel free to take some pictures. We've got a little bit of time before our second performance. Thanks for coming.